Good morning, especially you, Banukes. Today I wanna discuss something that one of my family members, Janelle's son, which is Johnny, asked. I just want everybody to know a couple things. See, the way I grew up, I was privileged to have tios, tias, and cousins. Why is it important to have good up reason or getting the way I got brought up? Why is it important? See, a lot of people may ask yourself questions, or may doubt, or may have controversial questions within themselves. See, growing up, my tío Jojo and Miguel, entonces, they taught us what a veterano was, and a lot of people forgot to respect. And what was the reason for a veterano growing up with us? See, a veterano is not just a gangster. A veterano es una gente madura, someone that could afford to give you his knowledge and his time and tell you his wrongdoing, his ways of thinking, and it passes down through generations. Rome wasn't created in one day. But like Caesar and Roman law, the reason Roman law it still exists is because they believed that the next generation, after the next generation, or after 7 generations, the knowledge and the wisdom should not be just forgotten. Cavemen used to write and scribe and walls and caves and everything, to pass on the knowledge that person combined. And Caesar did something, Rome did something special. First of all, it started documenting. It started doing registers. It started doing books. It started having all the knowledge from all the world, and scholars, and we call them veteranos, they complied and they read books, and for every problem that occurs, there's like 7 to 1,000 times ways to resolve it. So there's no actual way to resolve your problem, but that's why we have knowledge and wisdom, and it got passed on through us, through veteranos. Why veteranos is important to all of us? Because we respect them, because they lived our lives, because they done it and they gone through it, and we're young, and they showed us how to do domingo, ask for a quarter, or they taught us how to ask questions. See, in my time, we had Cobra. Cobra was a wino, Cobra was a gangster from Hazard, And a lot of people don't know the knowledge he spread on us, and the wisdom y toda la cosa. And we used to give him a quarter or something, or we'll go sit down next to Nico. Nico is the liquor store director in the projects, and Cobra will like always be there, and he'll tell us que no seamos desmadrosos, and he'll tell us how to conduct ourselves, and he'll tell us stories of Vietnam, man. He'll tell us stories, because we used to ask him, why you homeless, why you this, why you that, and he didn't want nobody disrespecting him, and he didn't want no one criticizing him and judging him like just a lo pendejo, So he used to tell us all the Vietnam stories, and he used to look, even though he was a wino, even though he was what you call somebody now, it's like he used to be borracho, and right there Nico's, he'll fall asleep and we'll walk, and we didn't see him as a wino. We saw him as a deal. We respected him, and we like I was saying, Cobra, he had he had gone to Vietnam and everything. Throughout the years, my dad and everybody's always told us stories about Vietnam, that they were picking up people from East LA, all the people that didn't have border brothers, and people that didn't have a reason, and they'll take you. And Vietnam killed a lot of gente from East LA. That's why they protested, and there was like marches and all kinds of stuff. And Cobra would always tell us all the stories, because we used to look at him in the beginning and like think he was nobody. And next thing you knew, a quarter for a story. We'll give him a nickel, a quarter, or whatever we had. And all the little youngsters, you know, I'm talking about all of us together. Me, Trusty, and fucking everybody. I remember Trusty growing up. That's how I remember him. And he used to teach us how to box. He used to teach us how to fight, how to conduct ourselves. And we used to go to Nico's and steal stuff sometimes, you know, but he taught us that was our hood, that was our tienda, that was our place, and if we robbed or whatever, we're gonna get spanked and we're gonna get harassed, because he wanted the best for us, you know. He never gave us an advice just to give us an advice. He taught us the beginnings of a structure, you know. And my Uncle Jojo told tell us, hey, you know what, respect him, you know, he's a veterano, you know, he's like been here all his time, you know. And we're lucky. We were lucky to hear all his stories, and we loved him. We loved him as an uncle. And we appreciated his knowledge and his wisdom and his time that he spread to us, you know. Sometimes it was like just thrown on the street, asleep in the middle of the, going to a liquor store, and we'll go wake him up, or we could buy him a beer, you know. And Jojo used to always tell us, you know. And as time went on, he stopped being a wino and he turned to God y toda la cosa, but he gave us a lot of knowledge. He taught us a lot of responsibilities and how to not to be so judgmental and so curious and putting people down, you know. And he was a gangster, you know. He was a gangster that guess we all go through it. Well, the reason I'm telling you these stories is because, see, I had my tío Stacio. He used to tell me military stories, and he used to tell me stories about my dad, about my grandpa, and it was nice. I also had Jojo. Jojo was a storyteller. He'll tell us how to conduct yourself, and I was telling Johnny how Jojo protected me and guided me, and he gave me one of the best knowledge I could ever institute to anybody. I told him, hey, you know, he prepared us to go to the county, you know, how to have our white shirts, our mustard shirts, how to take money in, how to behave, how to conduct yourself. If we were going to a university, if we were going to do something wrong, you know, and Jojo knew that we were in that path, you know, and he showed us how to have, you know, showed us how to use the huila, how to conduct yourself, how to speak in codes, how to not be a rat, and how to take the best opportunities that come our way. I remember I didn't believe him. I believed him, but I didn't believe who he was. Um, he used to be throwing down with the huras. He taught us how to whistle, how to keep eye. You know, he taught us all the basics. But he also taught me that he's always going to be there for me. I remember when I went to the county and he had called Sleepy Steve because he was there, and he goes, "Hey, Sleepy, te voy a echar una tiendita, a little chow, pero take care of my nephew, you know." And when I was there, I was amazed. I was amazed how they took care of me, you know, how they watched over me, and they didn't treat me nothing special. They told me, "Hey, you're gonna have to handle your own shit. You're gonna have to fucking grow up. You're gonna have to fucking take charge," you know. And I was like, I was ready, you know. I was ready to hang with the big boys, you know. And I didn't put them down, and I didn't put them to shame. And they said, "Man, you got a good structure. You got a good uprising, good teachings, and you're hip, you know." My dad taught me how to sell. My tío Ricardo, my tía Maria, and my uncle he taught me how to talk to girls and how to party, you know. My primo Bird, igual. Big Sal taught me, you know, también que las viejas, los parties, you know. It's a culture. It's a way of conducting yourself. And Taco and everybody, he was from the projects, and he lived in El Sereno. And I used to tell him, "How come your stepkids and your kids don't get into the neighborhood?" And he was like, "Nah, they don't need all this shit. They're second generation, you know. Tú también, cabrón, you know." And Johnny asked me a question, and I know how to reply, and I told him. What kind of got like curious and right away like nah, you know, keep away. But see, Johnny, we all need a veterano. We all need a tío, a cousin, someone that has gone through our shit, and someone that could advise us, open our eyes, and how to conduct ourselves with all. You've made it this far on your own, Johnny, and that's awesome. In the beginning, you're a little cagapalo, a little orgulloso, and you thought you were better than all of us, you know. And now you're opening your eyes, you're questioning yourself, and you're asking those questions that you should always had asked. I'm always gonna be here for you. And yeah, I might not have a lot of money like somebody else, you know, but the wisdom and the knowledge that I have, I could spread it and just take what's good, you know. Take good from everybody. Your dad has stories, I got stories, your Diaz got stories, everybody got stories. See, now you're gonna be a dad, and you can't raise your kid not knowing what's up, you know. They overprotected you in a certain way, that you're her only child, and you were chipeado. Your mom used to yell at you and overprotect you, and you know, try to intimidate you and scare the shit out of you, you know. I mean, that's how she is. But see, your mom had our stories. Cobra's, my story, Jojo's story, Miguel's story, my grandma's story. We all got stories. And I'm happy that you took the time to appreciate my story. I'm not saying I'm the shit. I'm not. I'm just passing along all the stories, and hopefully it helps you in life, that you get to appreciate and you get to pass on to your kids, or my kids, or my grandkids, or anybody, Johnny. I know you're gonna make it in a higher calling. I know you're gonna make it more, Johnny. Why? Because you started already where we're ending, and you're starting, you know. And you could have all the opportunities that we wish we had, and we don't. You have the voice, you have the knowledge, you got tienes todo, Johnny. Now you asked me a question. See, I was raised like you in 2 hoods or 3 hoods, and I never got into gangs. I said in one of these other videos, but bringing it back towards you. You don't need to get in a barrio. You can hang around with everybody, but you don't have to just isolate yourself to your gente. Everybody outgrows everybody, Johnny. Remember that one. Everybody outgrows everybody. You're gonna need a bigger reach if you're gonna be famous. If you're gonna get all that knowledge, you can't be afraid not to break boundaries. You gotta be willing to expand. You gotta be willing to not be isolated or not be to someone. See, a lot of people understand when someone is from the hood and when someone's not from the hood. When they're going to bigger places. See, if you make it, Johnny, we all make it. That's how we think. That's how your friends think. If Johnny makes it to the top, well, we all make it. Because you're gonna put their name out in recognition, and you're gonna be like someone, you know what I mean? So don't ever be afraid, Johnny, to expand your horizon, you know? Now I asked you, but I told you exactly like Listo told me growing up. It don't matter where you're from, I said. It's like, where's your cultura? Where's your family from? Well, where's your generation from? And that's where you're from, Johnny. You're a project kid. There's a homeboy that sings in your age, speaks about the project kid, you know? I don't know if that's the guy you're asking for, that you might eventually step on each other's feet. Well, guess what, Johnny? Don't be afraid to get to know them and fucking make it. Don't make an enemy out of familia, out of your cultura, man. See, when I was gonna get in Sereno, Jojo told me and Bird told me, you're gonna get in a gang, you're gonna get in hazard. Now you're not gonna get in nowhere, because I don't want my homeboys and my friends and all fighting each other, you know. And I didn't want to get in Hazard, and I didn't want to get in Nazareno after that. Why? Because Jojo opened my eyes and told me, Mijo, why you want to belong somewhere? See, we got in Hazard because we grew there and we had a slang, and the only way you could slang in Hazard was being from Hazard. And you had to, like, belong to them. It wasn't if and buts. Nazareno, like I say, you could just live there. You don't have to belong there. Your cultura is there, and you gotta just never rise or put up a gang or affiliations. You know, be yourself. Conduct yourself with the way you've been conducting yourself. Be who you are, but también don't forget. Get the wisdom, get the stories from everybody. Make friends with your enemies, carnal. You don't have enemies, Johnny. I don't have enemies. Sereno has enemies. Hazard has enemies. Who's got enemies? But why should you have enemies? You gotta overcome that. Your La Flecha and Güero, and I learned a lot from Flecha. He used to always be at the gym and telling stories, bagging on us, and snapping on us, you know? The veterano that fucking had a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge, and he'll sit in there, he'll want to know your problems, and he'll crack up and laugh at you, you know, like, wow, you consider that a problem? He'll call you a pendejo, he'll fucking snap at you and bag on you and make you feel like you're a piece of shit, and then he'll tell you what you gonna do, and it's right. Then you go out there in the world and You get offended, you're like, ah, man, lechon's worse than your ass. You gotta fucking go down that low to fight or have an enemy. Fuck, I take his shit, I'm gonna take your shit like nothing, man. He'll be amongst, I would call them giants, I call them gangsters, I call them cagapalos, snappers, and he never fucking got in the barrio, and he hung with them. They acknowledged him and they respected him. Your dad también, your grandpa, not your dad. They're wrong. The heavy hitters that we grew up with, the gente that were somebody, you know, they knew everybody, you know, because why? Because they were raised there. And you got to understand that all that knowledge that your grandpa gave me should have given it to you. I don't know why you didn't get the knowledge from Flecha and Güero and Ruben. I don't know why Ruben was in charge of the gym and with all the gangsters and stuff. They're gonna become from Ricardo Street, toda la cosa. But like Flecha told me, the reason he didn't get in the hood or not, because he was into dancing, dirty dancing. Fucking, he was busy being with all the hyenas. He didn't want to go to jail. He didn't want to get killed or fight or that. He always had a way to get out of a way, you know? And he always had the hyenas, young hyenas. And we used to go to his room because we sold him his mattresses and DirecTV, and I was around him. And he never considered me family, but he fucking gave me all the knowledge until when he almost died. He considered me family, finally, you know. But I knew he loved me, and he fucking used to see me with T-Bomb, with Gallo, with Little Joker, with Chino. He used to see me with Rascal, with Stranger, with T-Bomb, fucking Cartoon. He used to see me with Casper. He used to see me with Bams and everything. And he'll fucking come up to me and say, "Hey, puto, hey, over here." And I'm like, "What's up? I just heard, you know, they're gonna go to a desmadre, and I don't want you around. Go home, motherfucker." You know? I said, "Who the fuck are you to tell me something?" I said, "Go home." I used to obey him because why? He wasn't afraid to pull me out in front of everybody and tell me, "Hey, puto, get your fucking ass home. Don't hang around with these losers, eh?" And he'll call him to his face, and those are his friends, you know? And I was like, "What the fuck?" And he'll tell everybody, "You guys do what you want, but he's familia, you know? He's my Practice family, so he's family, you know?" And people knew not to include me, and people knew, like the way you told me, Johnny, that they know what's up with you, that you don't gangbang and you don't this and you don't that. They know. And the reason you haven't got into a gang, I'm gonna tell you why, Johnny. It's because like Martin and everything, they're from a gang, and you got to see what the fuck the thing about a gang is. And you got to hear our stories in a way that you're already raised. You're already like street smart. You're already like knowledgeable. You're fucking already had the state of mind that they were losers, you know? And I'm proud of you, Johnny, when I was talking to you yesterday that you got high potential. Now you just gotta expand your horizon and don't let nobody, nothing fucking keep you from accomplishing your fucking dream, you know? And remember one thing, you know? See, you're up ahead by 3 reasons, right? You didn't have to do this, madre. You've seen it. It's been around you all your life. And it doesn't captivate you. It doesn't impact you. It doesn't change you. good thing. Number two, you don't have the party scene that we all have in ourselves. I mean, that means drugs, okay, carnal? That means fucking trying to show off and trying to be something that you're not, You already got it. You know who you are. You know where you're headed. You got your head on straight. You're not in a swivel. You're in a fucking direct course, That's good, Johnny. Yeah, you try to be a tirin sometimes, and you try to act like you're downer than what you are. But that's because you're trying to find out who you are. Maybe you're crazier than all of us. But it's good, mijo, that you get your shit together. It's good that you know where you're going. You know the road where it's at. You're in a clean slate. You're not gonna do all this madres that we did, or that Martin did, or Jojo did, or Miguel did, Bird did. You know what's up, You got the street smarts. But don't be afraid of know your enemies. They're not your enemies, they're their enemies, but they're not your enemies. Conduct yourself like that. I told you, my dad had a furniture store, so I had to deliver to my enemies and toda la cosa. I said, you know what, I can't be from the barrio or nothing, because why? Because I go to all barrios, I go to all hoods, I go everywhere. Know your enemies that you might come across to your friends, not to you. Para que you could say, for example, you're with your friends and their enemies come. Say, for example, it's the projects. You can always say, you know what, this shit is not my shit. I know them, I know you, Waco. I'm picking a side, so you guys want to handle your shit, handle your shit. When you guys are tired of all this BS, I'll be right here, man. And that's how you conduct yourself. And it's good that you want to hear all these stories. How Bird has a lot of stories. Baña'a has a lot of stories. But deja tu orgullo and start hearing all the stories. I'm trying to spread the wow with my daughter, my sons, with my grandsons. And especially you, Johnny. You could hear my stories on YouTube and all. They're puro corazón. I don't have nobody to tell my stories more. I don't have, not that important no more. And all the knowledge is going to go to waste. It's going to go to wasteland. And before it goes to wasteland, I wanna spread the wow. I want you to have the opportunity when you really need it, that it's there, and say, damn, man, my tío Manuel, he's been through shit. You get to do all the feelings in life, but don't think it's all true. You know what I mean? Don't think it's that I'm the shit. Just get the knowledge that you need, and find the appropriate people that are gonna give you the input. Find the subject and go feed on the wisdom, and conduct yourself the way you've been conducting yourself, and be who you are. Just don't be afraid to expand. And don't be afraid to ask. You got everything, Johnny. You got everything, and you're a big brother, so you have to be there for your little brother. You're gonna have a son, so you gotta be there for your son. You're gonna raise them two fuckers, and hopefully, for the time they're asking the same questions you're asking. Throughout the years, you already have the experience, and you spread it to them. You tell them, hey man, ask, and don't be afraid, Johnny, to sit down with your grandpa and he's a snapper, he can grita and all this and all that, but thinks he's right, he's always right. I think it's somebody I know, but don't be afraid, you know. I took care of your mom growing up. I not raised her, but as a brother. I caused her situations and we had arguments, discussions, but she always knew that I was there for her. Same way Danny. She didn't come short. Her life didn't get disrupted or anything because she was her wisdom and her story, toda la cosa, fucking guided her, and she got what she needed, and she made it. Your mom wanted to be a model. Your mom wanted to be a chef. Your mom wanted to be a normal person, and we struggled with her. And I could tell you a lot of stories about her. And your mom made it to the top. And when she got to the top, she held on to it, and she's doing good. She handles herself. Now she's gonna be a grandma, and maybe she wasn't a good mother to you, like giving you all the knowledge and allowing you to experience a little more. She overprotected you and toda la cosa. But now you got your street smarts. Now you're knowledgeable, and I wish Jojo was around and he could tell you Peterman stories, you know. But you still got Miguel, you still got me, you got Danny, you got Martin, you got Bird, you got Ruben, you got Flecha, and then you got a lot of cops in our family también. So you could always ask them también, like, hey, you know what? I've sued the department 3 times. I'll show you the paperwork. I'll show you how to conduct yourself with cops. You respect them because they're out there to protect you, you know. And you don't rat, pero you don't wish nobody bad, pero you get the you get the protection that you need. Like, hey, you don't fuck with me because protected, you know. I'm from a certain family, you know. I'm from a certain culture, you know. We don't rat, pero you don't fuck with us. So I use it for my ways of life. You should too, Johnny. Say, hey, you know what? When you get harassed by the Buddhas and all that, you want to know who got harassed? I got harassed, and I got videos and all that I talk about it. I used to get pulled over. People used to snap. The gang injunction got me and threw me into another neighborhood. I was like, yeah, fuck what you throw me out, I'm gonna walk home. And he's like, well, they're your enemies. I said, yeah, they're not my fucking enemies. And they took me to another neighborhood. They dropped me off, and I knew everybody. Then they got me out and they threw me to another neighborhood that I didn't know. And they're like, where you from? I said, this motherfucker's fucking with me. I went nowhere. Grew up, you know what I mean? Well, where you grew up? I grew up by everywhere, motherfucker. You know, as a matter of fact, I deliver furniture there, and there. I go, why you here? Motherfuckers jealous of me, you know, because I have a rafla and I got my shit together. Like, orale, homie, you get a pass. And the Judas used to tell them, hey, you know what? Dale. Over here, we used to cruise in Whittier, and me, Bobby, and there's another about those named stranger from B&E. And, Brady, and we got pulled over right there where the Home Depot's at. Back then it was a paint field. It was the Home Depot, and we were cruising, and we got pulled over, and they tell us, hey, well, you know, you can't be cruising, toda la cosa. And I remember that they told Brady Freddy goes, he go outrun his fucking canine. Freddy outran his fucking canine. The cop released the canine, and Freddy turned around and socked up the dog and fucked up the dog. And the cops were about to fuck us up. But Freddy's like, hey, well, you told me if I beat him, I beat him. He's un tramposo, es cabrón. He has a lot of pinche movidas, you know. And we got released. We've been fucked up by cops. My car's got fucking taken apart by cops. I'm talking about Mexican cops. I'm talking about cartel. I'm talking about Zetas. I'm talking about military. Not just regular police. And I conduct myself. I know what's up, you know. I was raised different than you, Johnny. But doesn't mean that you're not better than me. You don't have potential to become better than me. You can become somebody. So, hopefully all these stories, in one way or another, open your eyes and you ask questions, you know? Don't be ashamed of your history, of your familia, where you come from. You're a project kid, no matter what. Danny got his bike stolen from the homies, and then they found out he was related to us, and they made it up for him. So, just saying the things, you know, we get along with everybody. We got family from all gangs. Lopez Maravilla, from fucking everywhere. Junior Mafia, Clara Street. We got Florence, the Jokers, you know. We got a family from everywhere. And my mom moved a lot of cities. We grew up with the Playboys. We grew up with the Bee Gees. We grew up with Loma Vista. Been around with BBH. I've been around with cartels. Over there in Mexico with the Nueva Generación, Las Perras, con Adrián. I grew up with the Colima generation. It's like, I tell people, it's like, I've seen killings, I've seen, heard, like, not visualize, but seen the outcome. I've seen homeboys pass away, friends get lifetime. I got a lot of stories that I almost got killed and toda la cosa. But it is what it is, you know. It shaped me. I got stabbed, and my best friends passed away, and what happened to Snoops, you know, the cops killed them and all. I don't hate a cop. They're out there, you know. I learned how to get along and how to use and how to manipulate, you know what I mean? So Johnny, this video was for you, but I thank you for giving me the opportunity to be around you, you know what I mean? And hopefully I can help you out. You want to go and meet them, and it's like, let's go. We could go and meet your potential across the road friends or enemies, you know? Just because you meet them, it don't mean you want to hang around with them. You want to be with them. You just want the knowledge. You just want them to know that, you know, who you are. Para que always fucking keep an eye on you, and always like, hey, you know what, that's Johnny. Can't fuck with Johnny, you know? Okay, Johnny this, Johnny that. Nah, Johnny's down, though. You know what I mean? Johnny comes from the projects. Johnny's family is familia, you know? That's what you want, Johnny. When you're in the car, you want people to know who you are when you're driving around everybody's neighborhood, everybody's place, you know what I mean? You go down, you don't snap, you don't kind of follow, you down, you know? respect you, and you could not have all these haters, all these people trying to put you down or compete. You know what I mean? Instead of compete, join the team, join the crowd. You know, if everybody looks at you. It's like if you go to like Marty's neighborhood and it's like, well, everybody knows who you are. ¿Sí me entiendes? If you go to the projects, well, you're familia, so everybody's got to know who you are. You go to Bow or go anywhere, it's like they know who you are. That's what you want. You want to get noticed. You want to be like, you want to be in the scene because that's what you're gravitating to. That's where your potential is. You know what I mean? So, story goes out to you, Johnny. I hope you liked it, and don't like it, dispensa, you know?